Gonna be comparing the Scary Movie franchise, which is primarily a spoof of horror movies, to George of the Jungle 1 and 2, which are more a spoof of the character Tarzan. When you look at highest score for each franchise, in the case of Scary Movie, the first film has the highest score of only 51%. The first George of the Jungle movie from 1997 has a 55%. When you look at lowest score, George of the Jungle 2, which was released direct to video, only has a 17%. Scary Movie 5 only has a 4%. When you look at average score for each franchise of George of the Jungle, you have an average of 36. With Scary Movie, you have an average of 27. When you look at gap between lowest and highest score, in the case of Scary Movie, you got a gap of 47%. With George of the Jungle, you have a gap of 38%. George of the Jungle has won every round so far, so it's going to be winning no matter what. When it comes to my personal opinion, I actually just watched 5 out of the 6 Scream movies just within the past 2 weeks. The only one I haven't seen now is part 3, because that's the only one of the Scream movies that is not well received. George of the Jungle is based on Tarzan, something that I'm familiar with. I've watched the movie Tarzan Legend of the Jungle that came out back in 2016. I've also seen the Disney animated movie Tarzan. Plus, if you think about it, Tarzan is similar anyway to Jungle Book. There's obviously differences for sure, but at the same time, both stories are about a man living in the jungle, so you can clearly see there's parallels there. And I definitely am very familiar with Jungle Book. Not that I've read the original book, but I saw the 2016 Jungle Book in theaters. Plus, I've seen a Disney animated version of Jungle Book from 1967. I actually watched it with a friend of mine. I've also seen the direct-to-video follow-up to that 1967 movie, plus the Netflix version of Jungle Book, Mowgli Legend of the Jungle, plus the 1994 Rudyard Kipling version of Jungle Book, and the movie Mowgli Jungle Book Story, which is on Disney Plus. It's really, I'd say, the most unknown of the Jungle Book films, the one that's least talked about by people. So when it comes to which franchise I prefer in this case, well, I'm gonna go with George of the Jungle just because the thing that it's spoofing, Tarzan, is something that I've been familiar with for a longer amount of time compared to the thing that Scary Movie is spoofing, that being horror films, but especially with the first one, it's primarily Scream. I've only watched the Scream films as of the past 2 weeks. Now, I know there are other horror films that the Scary Movies are spoofing, like some of the Hannibal films. I haven't, as of right now, seen any of the Hannibal films, but there's definitely other horror films I have seen. But however, I've known about Jungle Book, Tarzan for a long time before I started watching more horror films. I knew about Jungle Book, Tarzan back when I had only seen a few horror films. So in this case, I'm going to choose George of the Jungle. That'll wrap things up for this video.